Hi students, it's me again. Moving on to misleading data and data sampling, a very interesting topic, okay, because we tend to see lots of data in the news, sometimes in the newspaper, sometimes online. There's so many different ways that people could interpret data, and we really got to use our wisdom to interpret them accordingly. Because very often people wants to project what people want to know on the data, but sometimes it may not be reflected accurately. Okay, so moving on. So looking at this data, okay, this results actually shows you the number of members in this muscle gym from year 2000 to 2010. Okay, the first one, why is it misleading? If you look at it, seems misleading. From here when I look at it, it seems like, wow, there's a big increase over the 10 years, from 10 to 20 people. But if you look at it on from the angle, if I actually extend the y-axis, and you realize that, oh, after 10 years, there's only 10 people increase. That is actually not very positive, for any money-making business, isn't it? So that's why sometimes data, when it's presented in other forms, it can be misleading because it's what we see from our eyes, isn't it? Okay, so like for example, they say graph A gives the impression that membership has increased considerably over 10 years. Is that true? Seems like it. Like what I told you, seems like it. That's true. Graph B shows that the same data, but the increase appears less significant. Seems true too, isn't it? And then graph A, what about graph A? For part C, they say graph A indicates that gym membership is full. Seems like it, isn't it? It's right here at the top of the graph. Seems like it. Okay, seems like it. So therefore, you see, graphs can be presented in such a way that gives us the wrong impression. Okay, so just be very mindful when you see graphs in the news. You gotta ask yourself, okay, am I being cheated by what I'm seeing? So ask yourself those questions. Okay, another one. This is also a very interesting one. Okay, Shannon noticed two articles about computers in the newspaper. Use all the information to answer the questions below. So you have this computer information. They say this graph shows that prices are falling rapidly. So computer, it started off with $1,210, and after a few months, after 6 months, it is 1,160. Seems like the price has gone down more than half, isn't it? Look carefully. Is that true? No. Why is it not true? Okay, we'll discuss more during our lesson. So they say, by how much did the price actually fall in 6 months? You can find out from there. Explain why this graph would not accurately represent the price of all the computers. Why? Because it's only one type of computer, right? By explain why the word tumble is misleading. What's the meaning of tumble? So ask yourself that question. Is it tumbling down very rapidly? Okay. So when you say, this person make a decision that the computer would not no longer be produced and it will be replaced by another model. So you see, suddenly the price went down after 6 months. But is that really tumbling? Ask yourself that question. So this is also another challenge. Go look for some data that you can find in the news. Okay, you can go to Harrison or the Age, to find out whether there are any misleading data that is being used in the news, and then we can generate discussion during our lesson. Okay. So data sampling. Okay, another one. This one is about understanding what's the meaning between population and a sample. Okay, an entire population is basically the the group of people that I'm interested. Like for example, I want to find out in year 6 how many people are taller than 150 cm. So all year 6 students will be the population. Okay, but if I want to do a sampling, instead of using both classes, I'll just say, okay, I'll use 6A as an example to find out how many students are above 150 cm. So by just using one class instead of the whole year level, that is called a sample. Okay, so just bear that in mind. This is the two definition. Population, you're talking about everyone involved. Sampling is only a small group out of the whole group of the whole population. Okay, so very interesting concept here. They say that 2 boys and 1 girl in Sophia's netball team are left-handed. Based on this small survey, Sophie says that 30% of all people are left-handed. So is she true? Not sure. Okay, so we're going to do a survey. Again, we'll use the live lesson to discuss about this. And then after that, we'll convert the data onto the space given here. And to see whether Sophie's assumption is true based on the number of students that we have in our max group. Okay, let's move on. Okay, and then from there they say, oh, if possible, on a separate piece of paper, conduct a survey for the whole school population. I'm not sure whether we are able to do that. Okay, so this one will be pretty challenging. Maybe when we are back in school, we can come up with a simple survey tool, and then from there we collect all the results from the various classes, and then ask the homeroom teachers to help us, and then we tabulate all the information here to see whether Sophie's survey of the netball team is true. Okay, and then last question here, interesting. Okay, so last 13, let's leave it, let's not do anything to it. Okay, question 13. Question 14, they say, if you increase the size of your data sampling, will it become more accurate? Do you think so? When you have more people, will your results be more accurate? Think about it. We'll discuss about this, when we go through the answer. And they say, recently a group of 20 students at hamburger restaurants were surveyed by the owners of the restaurant. The owner found that their favorite food was hamburgers. And then they say, is this a reasonable survey for the whole country? So can we actually say that, oh, actually, hamburger is the most popular food in Australia? So based on that, can we make a stand? Yes or no? Explain why. Okay, so that's all for our lesson today. So if you have any issue, just drop me a note on direct message or Teams. Okay, bye-bye.